CNN obtaining an internal email from the Department of Homeland Security warning staffers to prepare for possible violent civil disturbances around Election Day. Ground zero for those growing tensions right now is Arizona, where some voters are latching on to election lies pushed by Republican candidates running for governor, Senate, and Secretary of State. Donie O'Sullivan is out front.
In the crucial swing state of Arizona, Republican nominees up and down the ballot allege with no substantiated evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. Take, for example, Kari Lake, the Republican nominee for governor.
Anybody who was involved in that corrupt, shady, shoddy election of 2020, lock them up.
CNN spoke to voters at her recent campaign events about their confidence in the upcoming elections.
It's hard to trust anybody anymore.
If we have honest elections, there's no question that Kari Lake will win.
We asked Maricopa County Board of Supervisors Chairman Bill Gates, who happens to be a Republican, to address their concerns.
I think I'd want to ask them about the extent that they can verify that ballots that were mailed out are actually filled out by the people they were intended for and returned by them, and not filled out by anybody else.
On the envelope itself, they fill out an affidavit and they sign an affidavit that indicates that it was them. And then if that signature doesn't match the signature that we have in our voter registration records, then we will call them up and try and confirm, did they actually do this?
And I think there's some election officials who have gone through FBI type training to look at signatures and to compare them, right?
Yes, absolutely. So many eyeballs are looking at this.
Do we have people who are trustworthy, who have gone through thorough background checks that we can put in securely, knowing that our elections, both sides, can have a fair chance at winning fairly?
You know, some of them, it may be their first election, but a lot of them, we have a track record knowing that these people are trustworthy. We have representatives of the Democrat and Republican Party working together. So even if you do have, you know, a sort of rogue actor, there's so many people watching them. We even do have the live stream cameras. There's so many checks and balances in our system that people just aren't aware of, because we've never had to go out and articulate that to people, because people have accepted, for the most part, the results of elections.
Got to get rid of those machines and go to paper ballots counted by the precinct committee men.
People vote on paper, but we do use a tabulation machine. And again, we've used those for decades. We know that those machines have been audited over and over again. We've shown time and time again by many experts that our machines are not connected to the internet in any way. And here's the reality. The machines themselves do a more accurate job of counting votes than humans do. When the count is over, when the machine count is over, we do a hand count audit to confirm that the machines are operating properly.
Just to be honest, do a job for the state and your party. Don't make it personal.
I agree with him. And so I am a Republican. But having said that, this is a nonpartisan role that we have. The references made to being personal, I think all this has gotten horribly personal. And the personal insults that are hurled back and forth are not good for our democratic republic. But further than that, it's not good for our civilization, for our culture. That's why this is so important.
And Aaron, you know, spending some time in Maricopa County in Arizona, which is where Bill Gates runs, you know, election officials they are trying so hard to be so transparent and to put everything out there. But you also heard him make that point there about this dehumanization and demonization, not just of senior public officials, but rank and file election workers. It's a really sad situation.
It really is, and it's really terrifying. I mean, they're trying so hard to be transparent, answer these questions, and sometimes, you know, but you give the answer to someone, they don't hear it. They don't listen to it. It just is the fear. All right, Donie, thank you so much. A really incredible report. I want to bring in now the Republican Speaker of Arizona's House of Representatives, Rusty Bowers. In testimony before the January 6th committee, Rusty, I know you detailed your refusal to overturn Arizona's election results, despite an enormous pressure that you were under from then President Trump and others. And what you stood up for was the reality of a fair ballot, and that you wanted the real answer to be what was out there. You stood up for that. And Speaker Bowers, I appreciate your time. So, I thought what was so interesting about Doney's piece, right, is that he talked to voters. What's your question? They asked it. And then Bill Gates gives those detailed answers about possible election fraud in Arizona. He talks about we've got live stream cameras. We do the signature verification. The machines are not connected to the internet. Each one in specific detail. Do you think, Speaker, that will make a difference to any of the people who question the integrity of the election?
Well, at least the people offered a thought. They had some question, some specific thing to ask, some desire that a specific point was covered. And he covered them to us. I just wish he would cover it to them personally, if that were even possible. But there's a lot of folks here who don't listen. They gave up on the listening thing a year plus ago, and it's very frustrating.
I mean, it's frustrating and it's terrifying, because you say to yourself, how do you break through? Where do you go do that? You can't. How do you talk to every voter? Will they even listen to you if you do? And in your state right now, Republican nominees for governor, U.S. Senate, Secretary of State, and Attorney General, all four of them, Speaker, are Trump-backed election deniers. They have made questioning the election central to their campaigns. Kari Lake, first and foremost among them. She is, of course, your state's Republican nominee for governor. Here's what she's telling voters about next week's election.
I'm afraid that it probably is not going to be completely fair. I wish I could sit here and say I have complete faith in this system. I don't have faith in this system.
And she's said that and similar again and again and again, Speaker.
Yes.
How worried are you about this?
Well, I'm only worried if the four of them were able to combine and bypass the legislature and the courts. So my optimism is that there are checks and balances, even in these. They're people of authority. They will have great authority. I don't think their full-time job will be trying to undermine an election. But there are some, Mr. Fincham, for example, I don't mind saying, that's a gentleman that I really would worry about. But all in all, we will move ahead. The people, if they don't want to hear one way, experience is a hard teacher. And some people don't learn by any other way. And I, having gone through this experience, having gone and answered those questions that were asked myself, and effectively by Democrats, Republicans, independents, parties not determined, all working together at these counting centers, there would be thousands of people involved in a conspiracy of the size that's been propagated. And it just isn't there. And so I gave up trying to convince people, but I haven't given up just trying to say that there are checks, there is concern, we're going to watch it.
Well, and I hope people know, it is just so important that you speak out, and it is courageous that you do so. I know that, you had protesters, some of them armed. They came to your home during all of this while your late daughter lay gravely ill, and you were going through such profound personal duress, and they were there putting you through that, and yet you still speak out. And it is an act of courage. It's important, and I appreciate it, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.